Tom Downey here for Chat Sports as we take a look at a 2023 XFL Preview. So a different show because NFL football is over, and to help fill our, I'll use the word addiction, we can call what it is for football, the XFL is getting started up again in terms of actual games this weekend. Here are the 8 XFL teams. Of course, we broke down the draft live for the XFL. Arlington Renegades, DC Defenders, Houston Roughnecks, the Orlando Guardians, San Antonio Brahmas, Seattle Sea Dragons, the St. Louis Battlehawks, and the Vegas Vipers. We did break down the draft, but there have been some rather significant roster changes already for the XFL. Some new guys coming in, some other guys leaving. So we'll break down each team, the coaches, the quarterbacks, notable players. But I do want to know, will you watch the XFL this year? Y for yes, N for no. You can be honest, even if it's just a game in the background. I get that. I understand that. You can type in your Y for yes, or if you have no interest, type in N for no. Head down there. Let us know in the comments section. We begin with the Arlington Renegades. They're coached by, this is someone everyone knows, Bob Stoops is back as the coach for Arlington. It was the Dallas Renegades last time around. He went 2-3 before the XFL shuttered and then returned in 2020. Of course, the longtime Oklahoma Sooners head coach here. Curious what ends up happening here at quarterback for Arlington. My assumption is you'll see either Kyle Sloter or Drew Plitz, but big-time addition, or retention, I should say, of getting Bob Stoops as the Arlington head coach. Let's break down some of the notable players on this team. We'll go 5 on offense, 5-ish on defense here. Kyle Sloter, Drew Plitt, the quarterbacks. Plitt, of course, played for Ball State, the Bengals in the preseason. Sloter's bounced around the NFL. Dexter Williams, Notre Dame, Green Bay Packers, running back. Tyler Vaughn's played at USC. Isaac Nauta, the Georgia tight end. Fun fact, his family hates me because I called him slow, which I was right. Doug Costin from my alma mater, the defensive tackle, did actually start some games for the Jags. Bounced around the NFL, Devontae Bosby, probably one of the better corners in the XFL. TJ Green, Will Hill, fairly early draft picks at safety. And I can't believe that I'm doing this, but Marquette King is on here. That's right, the punter for Marquette King. He's back in the XFL. We'll see if he draws too much attention relative to punters, but that's probably one of the more recognizable names on this grouping. We're going to keep going through all the teams here. What XFL team will you cheer for? I live in Dallas. I'm not picking the Arlington Renegades, however. We'll get to my team later on in today's show, and I want to hear from you guys first. It's the pinned comment on today's show. What XFL team will you guys cheer for? So if the ad break comes, ignore it. Head down to the pinned comment and let me know. The DC Defenders, next up here, they're coached by Reggie Barlow, the longtime HBCU coach, former NFL wide receiver. Very interested to see how the quarterback battle breaks up. 2 notable names at that spot. Jordan Tiamu, who of course had some success at Ole Miss, briefly with the Chiefs too, and De'Aaron King, who I think is the perfect fit for this type of league where, you know, and he wasn't going to be a quarterback in the NFL, but he might be in the XFL. Abram Smith, Reichwell Armstead, the running backs. Both guys have bounced around the NFL. Armstead was a draft pick. Josh Hammond among a fairly deep group of wide receivers. Keep an eye on Davin Bellamy. I fully expect him to be an impact player at the edge rusher spot. Andre Mintz has played some in the NFL. Former Cowboys linebackers Anthony Hines and Francis Bernard. And Kentrell Bryce, too, started some games at safety for the Green Bay Packers among that very intriguing grouping at the defensive side of the ball for the DC Defenders. Let's go to Houston now. The Roughnecks, coached by Wade Phillips. That's a big time. That's Jeremy's team, by the way. He spent, of course, decades in the NFL as a defensive coordinator and as a head coach as well. 2 quarterbacks of note on this roster as well. Cole McDonald, the Hawaii guy, he's expected to start. And I liked Caleb Elby a decent amount coming out of Western Michigan, too. He's on there. Max Borgi, the former Washington State running back. Nick Hawley from Kent State. Deontay Burnett, remember him from USC, the receiver. Longtime NFL veteran Trent Harris getting a shot, by the way. Duke Ejiofor, who battled some injuries. He's an edge rusher, too. 2 corners I like. Kerry Vincent from LSU, the more nickel corner type. Sean Davis as well, who was a fairly early pick out of Maryland. So some notable NFL names you might recognize in Houston. Today's show is made possible by LinkedIn Talent Solutions. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain you have access to the best qualified candidates available. So that's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. Helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. We've made some great hires here at Chat Sports thanks to LinkedIn Jobs. It's also nice that it's easy to create a free job post on LinkedIn Jobs. Makes hiring just a little bit easier, knowing how stressful and important that role can be. You can add your job, purple hashtag hiring frame, to your LinkedIn profile. Help spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires compared to leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That's linkedin.com/NFL Daily to post your job for free. It'll be in the comments section and the description. The link will be, I should say. Terms and conditions do apply. Orlando Guardians next up here. Terrell Buckley, the former top 5 NFL draft pick, left his post as the DB's coach for Ole Miss to take over the Guardians. Some local flair on this roster, which I think is a smart business move if you're just trying to get a few more people in the stands for your games there. DeAndre Francois is one quarterback for the Guardians. After the draft, they added Paxton Lynch, the former first-round pick of the Denver Broncos, and older second-round pick of Denver. Cody Lattimore, by the way, also on this roster. Charleston Rambo, who I think some Hurricanes and Sooners fans will certainly know. I also love the move to go with Kelvin Taylor as one of their running backs, the former Gator great at that spot. He is, of course, the son of Fred Taylor, by the way. Nick Coe out of Auburn, defensive lineman. Gerald Willis of the Hurricanes. I like Jeremiah Gamel from UNC to Grace Scales from Indiana a few years ago at the linebacker spots. Gamel was more recent. Matt Elam, who, of course, had a very, not sure what the right word there is, tumultuous career in terms of being a pro football player. He's among the safeties on this group. The San Antonio Brahmas, coached by Hines Ward, who, of course, once got interviewed for the Houston Texans job somehow. Former NFL wide receiver, was last the FAU wide receivers coach. I think Ward is treating this as I want to get an NFL head coaching job someday, and this is a nice, big jump forward from, G5 receivers coach to XFL head coach. I think it's still a pretty big jump on that front. Their quarterback is former Notre Dame and Wisconsin QB Jack Cohn. Kalen Ballage, who you might remember from Arizona State, bounced around the NFL. He's the lead back. TJ Vasher from Texas Tech is the wide receiver. You're right, Jeremy, producer Jeremy. It's a Cowboys legend right there. Alize Mack, the tight end. You might remember Damian Mama out of USC, the guard. Spent some time with the New York Giants. Keep an eye on one of my favorite fits for the XFL, Joel Dublanco. He's not a great athlete out of Cincinnati. Tackling machine. I think he's going to be among the league leaders in tackles if he stays healthy. There's Ben Davis of Texas. Cam Kelly, the former San Diego State corner. Luke Barku, who spent some time briefly with the Chiefs. And another punter. Don't ever say I don't treat punters and kickers as not people, which I absolutely do not treat them as people. But Brad Wing is the punter there. Now, if you want daily NFL, NBA, and college football content for free, plus maybe some more XFL stuff, hit that sub button right now. That way you don't miss out on the multiple times per day videos we do here at Chat Sports. Now, my team in the end, I'm cheering for the Seattle Sea Dragons, coached by Jim Haslett, the former Saints head coach, last coach for the Tennessee Titans. And a couple reasons why I'll be cheering for the Seattle Sea Dragons. Most of it comes down to the players involved there. They've got my guy, Ben DiNucci. The Nooch is the quarterback for the Sea Dragons. He, of course, spent time with the Dallas Cowboys. They've also got Josh Gordon. He's playing in the XFL. Jalen Redd, the other notable receiver there. Michael Manet, a former Penn State offensive lineman. Several defensive linemen worth watching. P.J. Hall, Austin Falui, Trayvon Hester. Jordan Evans, a draft pick from Oklahoma. Antoine Brooks. They've got some previous intriguing, I'm not sure if the draft crush is the right word, but draft people I've heard of before that intrigues me from that standpoint. So I'll be cheering for Seattle. I will watch some of the games because I have no life whatsoever, but just keep that in mind. I'm going for Seattle. Let's go to the St. Louis Battlehawks now. They're coached by Anthony Betch, the former longtime Jets tight end, has 1 year of coaching experience, tight ends coach in the AAFL, which pretty big jump as far as I'm concerned, but they have a very notable quarterback, maybe the most known QB, A.J. McCarron. Yeah, McCarron is coaching is the quarterback for the St. Louis Battlehawks. Brian Hill was a draft pick. Marcel Aitman, the former Raider great. Of course, great's not serious there. Gary Jennings of West Virginia. Austin Prohl, that's Blake's kid. A couple recent linebackers, Mike Rose, Carson Wells. Lavert Hill of Michigan. Tim Harris of Virginia, two notable corners. Well, I'm very curious to see how A.J. McCarron looks at this point in his career, how he holds up against much younger players out there. Now, the XFL is not the only spring league, we'll call it. What will last longer? U for the USFL, X for the XFL. Hopefully this time a pandemic doesn't strike right in the middle of the XFL season because that's what killed them last time. What will last longer? Let me know. U for the USFL, X for the XFL. Vegas Vipers. Producer Jeremy hates this logo with a passion. They're coached by Rod Woodson, Hall of Fame DB's last job was coaching the Raiders corners back in 2017. They finally found a stadium. They were playing at Cashman Field. When the draft happened, we didn't know where Vegas was playing, which is kind of funny. Brett Hundley is their quarterback. Yeah, the former Packer, UCLA guy. John Lovett, the Penn State back. Geronimo Allison, Jeff Badette, and Martavis Bryant are your receivers. So Bryant back playing for, well, I guess, team that now shares the same city as the Raiders did. Badette's got great speed. Allison, Bryant, they're going to sling it around out there, I think, on offense. Robert Windsor out there, maybe the second most recognizable name beyond Josh Gordon. How about top 10 NFL pick Vic Beasley, the edge rusher playing for the Vegas Vipers. Elite name Mr. Harriel, also playing for Vegas. Before we go, a brief look at the Week 1 schedule. 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. Vegas at Arlington, Orlando at Houston, St. Louis at San Antonio, and the Seattle Sea Dragons at the DC Defenders. That's the XFL Week 1 schedule. They played plenty of games this year, and you know what? If you liked the video, tell me you did. Hit me up on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. That's our XFL 2023 preview. Hopefully, the league does not fold midseason this time around.